Hello and welcome to the Local Lafourche. My name is Cody Gray, President and CEO of Louisiana's Cajun Bayou Tourism, the Tourist Commission for Lafourche Parish. And we're excited to have you join us here today on another new episode of the Local Lafourche, where each month we take you up and down our beautiful bayou to show you more of the unique and exciting things that are happening in your own backyard. Well, spring is just around the corner, and it is one of the best and most beautiful times to visit Louisiana's Cajun Bayou. We have a jam-packed show today with guests who are here to show you how you can get out, enjoy the fresh air, and soak up all of the beauty and the culture along the bayou. So with that, let's get started on our first segment about what's new in Louisiana's Cajun Bayou. Last year, our organization, through the Tourism Investment Program, awarded grants to create new projects and new events in Lafourche Parish. One of those new projects sought to create a new cultural tour in Thibodaux, which connects visitors directly with our unapologetically Cajun culture while providing hands-on activities and also partnering with area attractions, restaurants, and hotels. Today is actually the kickoff day for this new Cajun Bayou Culture Day tour, and joining me is Miss Pamela Fultz with the Friends of Edie White Historic Site, Ranger Allen with the Jean Lafitte Wetlands Acadian Cultural Center, and Mr. Bill McKee with Laurel Valley Village and Sugar Plantation. Thank y'all for being here.
Thank you for having us.
So the Cajun Bayou Culture Day tours, these tours are going to be awesome. They're starting today as the kickoff day. So Pam, if you would, tell us a little bit about the Cajun Bayou Culture Day tours and how this came to be.
Sure. Okay, so today is our actual kickoff for the spring session.
Okay.
It's only on Tuesdays. The Cajun Bayou Culture Day was actually the brainchild of Ranger Allen here. And at one of our board meetings with the Friends of the Historic Site, she passes me your application across the table and she says, this is a great idea for us to make some collaborative efforts with along the bayou with those of us that try to promote the history.
That's right.
So sure enough, we applied. You guys granted us that. And what it does is it takes 3 historic sites within the Thibodaux area and connects them with a full day excursion tour.
Awesome.
So the event starts at Edie White.
Okay.
And when they begin, they do, of course, the tour of the home, the tour of the vintage kitchen, but included in it so that we could share more of the Cajun heritage that Bayou Lafourche is so rich in, we have a casting demonstration. Actually on the land, just a little practice, and then they are allowed to go on our pier and practice over the water.
Awesome.
So it's an awesome opportunity. The volunteers that we have actually were trained by the Wildlife and Fisheries.
Okay.
So you're actually casting a real line.
Nice.
For some fake fish.
That's
now.
right.
Absolutely. And it's in a hula hoop.
Okay.
And they're big plastic fish. And so you cast out and you reel them in. And of course, you try to catch them all, but you don't
course.
always do that.
Of course.
And then you can experience the actual casting on the pier.
Okay.
Now, as part of a little extra, we do offer some sampling of fried catfish.
It wouldn't be a tour without food.
Absolutely. And
That's
it wouldn't
right.
be Louisiana without food. Or Thibodaux.
That's right.
So they would leave us Edie White Historic Site after that particular tour. Then the goal of the whole grant was to increase the tourism and people visiting our restaurants in Thibodaux and staying in the hotels in Thibodaux. So once they would leave the Edie White site, they would venture into Thibodaux, have some lunch. Then they would make their way on over to the Laurel Valley site and have a tour there.
Okay.
Do the tour there, and Bill's going to speak a little bit to that shortly. And then once the tour is done, they come back into town, visit the shops, frequent the shops, spend a little money in town.
Yep.
And then they would be able to participate at Jean Lafitte with the language roundtable and the music, the live music. And the whole goal was to connect Thibodaux's 3 historic sites that speak to the heritage and the culture of the bayou, and connect those and make it a full day excursion where people would enjoy their day, enjoy the music, the food, the culture, the environment. So Cajun Bayou Culture Day is a fall and a spring event. So it runs March, April, May in the spring.
Okay.
And September, October, November in the fall.
Perfect.
And you call the site
Okay.
to reserve your
Call
spot.
E.D. White Historic
Call
Site.
E.D. White 447-0915.
Okay.
And make your reservation, and you receive your discounts for local restaurants that are participating, as well as some of the hotels in the area. So it's a full day, but it's an exciting day and a way to spread the history and the culture of the Thibodaux area.
It's very immersive, right?
Very
and
immersive.
It's a great way for people to engage directly and to make those memories and those cultural experiences.
And to come pass
awesome.
a good
That's
time
it.
on the bayou. Absolutely.
That's what we want. So, Ranger Allen,
Yes.
Jean Lafitte Wetlands Acadian Cultural Center, of course, like Pam just said, a great stop on this tour. I know that y'all have a couple of other things that y'all do there as well, with some walking tours, some boat tours. I know there's been a great partnership between y'all's three entities. Tell us a little bit about, what this means to the Cultural Center to be part of this tour.
We are extraordinarily excited to be here and to be participating with our partners.
Absolutely.
It's a wonderful, there's just so many stories and experiences. And what's really wonderful is they get not only to come and tour our site, but also have that immersive experience of being able to talk to people who still have Cajun
That's right.
French. And afterwards, we have musicians. Some are award winners that perform right here in Thibodaux.
Right. You would never think. I've been to them. It's incredible, the music and the talent that's there.
Absolutely.
It's great.
Absolutely. We are just delighted to be here and able to offer that. We also, as you said, offer walking tours of the historic, the beautiful historic district downtown Thibodaux,
Yep.
as well as boat tours that go to E.D. White now on Fridays and Saturdays, and eventually we'll be going to Laurel Valley. Can't wait for that.
We can't either. That'll be good. And so segueing over to Laurel Valley, I know, Bill, y'all have done a lot of work out there on the store. You've done a lot also to the plantation complex itself.
Right.
Y'all have really developed a phenomenal tour there. People are now able to come and tour the historic site, to tour the store, pick up some local Louisiana souvenirs there at the store. So tell us a little bit about what's going on at Laurel Valley and how y'all play into this Cajun Culture Day tour.
Sure. So Laurel Valley's claim to fame is that it's the largest surviving 19th and 20th century sugar plantation complex in the United States.
That's right.
Which is a really long way of saying we got a bunch of old buildings, right? We have, but we also have the store up in the front where we kind of greet people. There's it's a great place to get some local handcrafted items like candles and soaps and honey and jam, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's usually where we meet our guests, and then we'll take them to the back into the village area, and we'll walk through the village area and see some original cabins that date back to the mid 1800s. And it kind of encapsulates the story of the region. It allows you to kind of take a glimpse back into our history.
right.
and walk through the village and learn about our history and the industry, the sugar industry, and life along the bayou, and life in Thibodaux.
It is. It's an exceptional tour that I recommend everybody go to. Y'all have done, I mean, you and the Heritage Foundation and all the volunteers at the store have done an incredible job of really building, especially over the COVID years, of really building this up and making this a really significant tour for people to go and experience. So to wrap this up, tell us again where people can reserve their tour.
You call the E.D. White Historic Site
Okay.
at 447-0915
All right.
and make your reservation. And you start your day at E.D. White. It starts at 10 in the morning.
Okay.
And then it just progresses throughout the day. And they can pick one to, select one
Mm-hmm.
side. If they can't make the whole day, it's up to that individual person.
Perfect.
But we welcome them.
And y'all have, y'all have the discounts with the restaurants and with
sir.
the hotels as well. You can make a whole day of it. You can spend the night, go up the next morning. Thank y'all so much for being here. We greatly appreciate it. We look forward to all the visitors that will be taking this new cultural tour.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back with more of the Local Lafourche.
Today's social media segment is brought to you by South Louisiana Bank. It's better when we bank together. Waits and Downer, attorneys at law. Terrebonne Ford, built Ford tough.
Welcome back to the Local Lafourche. Our waterways are a precious resource for our entire region, so it's important that we keep them clean and preserve them for future generations to enjoy. On our Something to Do segment today, we're featuring an event that gives you an opportunity to get out and to make an impact in your local community while helping to preserve these precious natural resources. Joining me here today to talk about the Bayou Lafourche cleanup, which is coming up, is Emily Noblant-Bavlet, Miss Nicole Babin, and Emily Bro with the Bayou Terrebonne National Estuary Program. Sorry, I'm so used to calling it BitNet, which is, I think, how many of us know it. But thank y'all so much for being here today.
Thanks for having us.
So, Emily, we're going to start with you. I know confusing today with two Emilys, right? But we have two Emilys here, so we're going to start with Emily all the way at the end.
Cool.
Tell us a little bit about the Bayou Lafourche cleanup and how people can get involved, or what the Bayou Lafourche cleanup really its mission is.
Yeah, so Bayou Lafourche Cleanup is an annual event for BitNep. It's one of our biggest. So we gather hundreds of volunteers every year to cover the entire span of Bayou Lafourche, 106 miles from Donaldsonville to Leeville.
Wow.
And we remove literally tons of trash every year. Crazy stuff, appliances, toilets, hundreds and thousands.
You name it, it's in there.
Yeah,
I was going to say,
it is
I've
literally-
participated in it. It's crazy what you see. Yeah,
you would be
people don't.
shocked, but it's obviously important for the face value issues like the beauty of the bayou, and if we want to protect the wildlife, we want to help the vegetation and all that stuff, but there's a great economic value and a human aspect. So Bayou Lafourche is the drinking water source for over 300,000 people.
That's right.
Assumption, Lafourche, and Terrebonne Parish. There's also an economic value there. So it's the only source of potable water for Port Fouchon. And so the offshore energy industry is also dependent on Bayou Lafourche. So it is March 16th from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. And it's family friendly. We have a ton of organizations, businesses, family and friends. They all make little groups and join a cleanup site. And it's a great day to volunteer.
That's wonderful. And so for people who might not be able to get out and volunteer or maybe aren't free that weekend, I know, Nicole, that sponsorships, partnerships are a big thing, not only with BitNet, but also with the Bayou Lafourche cleanup. Tell us a little bit about, this year's sponsors and also some of the partnerships I think that y'all have going on with this year's event.
Sure. So BitNap, along with the Barataria Terrebonne Estuary Foundation, we accept sponsorships and partners. And right now what we have is we partner with Louisiana Cajun Bayou, Bayou Lafourche Freshwater District, and Lafourche Parish Government.
Wonderful.
They've came in and did a great deal of helping us get the word out and come on, y'all.
The general logistics.
No, I was going to say, I've seen a lot
Yeah.
of, a lot of promotion on social media and a lot of sharing, of course, across the community. And I know that those sponsorships and those partnerships are big in helping amplify that voice. I mean,
Right.
we do the same thing. We partner with all of our tourism partners in the area to help spread the word about tourism and to really promote visitation to the area. Same thing with the Bayou Lafourche cleanup that happens here. And I know we're proud to be a supporter of it. I know Lafourche Parish Government is in the Freshwater District as well. So
Right.
that is excellent. So Emily, tell us a little bit about volunteer. I mean, if people want to get involved, if they want to join a team, if they want to be part of the cleanup, how can they go and do that?
So if you would like to volunteer, you need to go to our website, which is bitnep.org. And on our website, it has all the information, all the sites. We have 12 sites this year.
Okay.
From Donaldsonville to Cutoff. And if you would like to go past Cutoff, you just will report to the Cutoff location. But you can go to our website and pick any of those sites.
Okay.
Just fill it out. It's easy. Very
And I think
easy.
you get a free T-shirt.
You get a free T-shirt. We
I mean, man.
supply everything. Well, not everything. We give you snacks,
Okay.
waters, trash bags,
Wow.
drivers. Anything you need to pick up the trash, we will give it to you.
That's awesome. I know, like I said, our team has participated in it from our office. I know a lot of organizations in the community come out. It's really cool to be a part of it, and it really gets you out and you see the bayou from a different perspective, and you see our natural resources from a totally different light. And I know, speaking of that trash that Emily was talking about earlier being removed, how much trash? Do y'all have an estimate of how much trash gets removed for Bayou Lafourche during the cleanup every year?
Yes. So last year in 2023, we removed about 7.85 tons.
Wow.
Yes. So this year we're aiming for 8 tons.
Okay.
Trying to grow.
Well, one day we hope to have 0 tons coming out of the bayou with obviously people littering, but it is important, especially at that 90 corridor when you're coming over, you see the bayou, you want to make sure it looks good. You want to make sure it's clean. And like you said, it's a valuable resource. It's a drinking resource. It sustains life for this entire region. So Emily,
Yeah.
the other Emily, we're going to switch back over to you real quick. Tell us a little bit real quick about, so I know BitNep is very involved in a lot of things locally.
Yeah.
Y'all have a huge program that you administer. What are some of the other ways that, people can engage with y'all throughout the year, or maybe some other programs that you have going on?
Sure. So we do a good bit of education and outreach. So our water quality team will attend events. We have a really great pollinator program. So in local libraries, you can find seed libraries. We also do plant giveaways, so you can find native plants, which is a huge thing for us. Beyond that, we have our native plant nursery, which we produce hundreds of thousands of plants for restoration projects in the area. So
That's amazing.
it's really great and a cool honor for us to do so. So you can volunteer at our farm. So we love to get involved with the community.
Wonderful.
We are actually, the estuary encompasses 16 different parishes, either all or port. We're a 4.2 million acre estuary and only one of 28 national estuary programs.
It's a huge area.
Yeah, so
Huge
it's
area.
really cool that we live in this really important place and not even a ton of people don't know about it. So
That's right. That's right.
love to get the word out.
Well, thank you so much for all of you being here today. Again, Bayou Lafourche Cleanup coming up on,
March 16th,
you got it. And what was the times again?
8 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Perfect. And you can visit online to register. We hope to see tons of people out helping clean up the bayou and keeping our area clean. Thank you all again for being here
Thanks,
today.
Cody.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back with our last segment of the Local Lafourche.
Today's social media segment is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health Systems, modern technology, and timeless caring. Rouse's, you're either local or you're not. Buick, the craft of modern luxury. St. Martin and Bork, know your rights.
Welcome back to our final segment today. Lafourche Parish is a year-round regional, national, and international tourism destination. And following the COVID-19 pandemic, international visitation resumed. And so with that, international visitors are out and exploring our parish, and one of their top interests is the Cajun French language. Well, a local group in Thibodaux, they meet weekly, actually, at the Jean Lafitte Wetlands Acadian Cultural Center to preserve and promote the Cajun French language through Circle Francophone Roundtable. So joining me here today is Miss Marlene Bro-Toops and Miss Hodnet here to tell us more about Circle Francophone. Thanks so much for joining.
Thank you.
All right.
Bonjour.
So tell us a little bit about Circle Francophone. It happens every Tuesday, I know, at the Wetlands Acadian Cultural Center, who we had on a previous segment today.
Yes.
But tell us a little bit about Circle Francophone. What is it for those that may not know? And how can people come and experience it?
There are French tables throughout Louisiana, and this is ours, Sir Francophone. We thought we'd make it more inclusive. When it started, it was Robin White, Dr. Robin White at Nichols, who introduced the idea of a French table, and we've been having it ever since. It's 15, 16 years, we lose track. But what we do is we come together and we speak French, and not everybody speaks French fluently, but we try to help them a little. We talk to each other. We have some stories that we tell. We have some lists that we read. For example, I'm facilitating tonight the French table, and I have a list of words starting with the letter B.
Okay.
And we'll go over that. Michelle Bro, who came as a Codefield teacher, is one of the facilitators too. And she was an elementary teacher until she retired, French teacher. And so she has lessons that she has, and she keeps us on track. Also, we kept it going during COVID on Zoom,
Yeah.
and people came. We had people who come from all over. People are very interested in the language. As I was telling you earlier, we have a young man, Jamie Root, who's a professor at NYU, and he's coming in a couple of weeks with students. He came to visit us in 2013, I believe it was. He was working on his PhD, and he now teaches Cajun French at NYU.
Wow.
So he's bringing a group of students for a week to talk to us, and he'll be there on Tuesday night. But he's also joining the Zoom. We do a Zoom on Monday mornings, and we have people from, right now, 3 Canadian provinces, 4 states, and Louisiana, of course, that we come together. And that brings tourism to Lafourche Parish,
It
all of
does.
these people, because, I tell them about Lafourche Parish, you got to come see us.
That's right.
You
No,
know.
it's incredible to see how many international visitors and also the locals also engaging with the language, engaging with the visitors, having that connection. It's incredibly important. And, I want to talk a little bit about, and I think, Martha, you could talk to this pretty well, about the importance of keeping the language alive.
Well, yes, because I'm not a native speaker like Marlene. My grandparents spoke French as their first language, but they did not choose to pass it on for various reasons. At the time that they were children, that was a negative thing. And they did not pass it on to their children, and certainly not to their grandchildren. My grandmother would not speak French. My grandfather would not speak French in front of us. Being a little person and a little mouse, I would try and catch them speaking French and would sneak up to them. And as soon as they knew I was there, Martha, what do you need? Martha, what do you want? No, never. And even when I was grown and a school librarian, I would take my grandmother places. I would take her to see her sisters. And they immediately wanted to speak French with her because that was their first language together. And she would say, no, we do not speak French in front of my granddaughter.
Amazing.
She doesn't speak French. And I'd say, no, I want to learn French, but no. So I go to Cirque Francophone, and I consider myself a novice, a debutante, a beginner. But I enjoy it. I have fun. And that's one of the fun things about our table is that people who have not spoken French
right.
in a long time are relearning their French or reawakening their French. People who have never spoken French are learning. People who are not from here, it's a fun comparison, sometimes humorous, to hear how in Lafourche Parish, we say words in one way, yet just a few miles away, maybe in Vacherie or Chack Bay, or in the western part of the state, because we have members who live right here in Thibodaux in Lafourche Parish that come from other areas in Louisiana. They grew up speaking and saying words differently, using different words. And then when we have visitors who are from France, from the islands, from Canada,
We try to get
it's much different.
We
It
try to
is.
get across to people. It's all French and it's all good.
That's right.
And we understand each other. In English, we use synonyms. We don't always use the same word. And I try to get that across to them. And I'm always on a quest to make people realize that we do speak French on this side of the Atchafalaya.
That's right.
That there are Cajuns.
That's right.
And we speak
Absolutely.
French. It's a little different, but we understand each other. And I love that, discovering different ways of saying things.
You're right. And it's incredibly important to the culture and the heritage here and the people. And it's something that everyone needs to experience. So real quick, if people want to participate or want to come out and check it out, when can they?
We start at 5, but 4:30 we start gathering. We have coffee and we
Okay.
talk informally, and then we begin at 5 to 6, and
Okay.
there's the music after at Jean Lafitte.
Perfect. At the Jean Lafitte Wetlands Acadian Cultural Center. Well, Miss Marlene, Miss Martha, thank you both for being here, for sharing this. We encourage people to come out and experience it for themselves. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Yes.
And that's a wrap for today's show. We appreciate you tuning in. But before we go, we want to remind you to visit lacajunbayou.com or follow along on our social media channels at LA Cajun Bayou to learn all the latest happenings in Lafourche Parish. On behalf of Louisiana's Cajun Bayou Tourism, thank you for tuning in. And we can't wait to see you back here again next month for a new episode of the Local Lafourche.